Okay, Coach. So let's begin here where you began with Khalil. Uh, in high school, he's a do-everything threat down in Murrieta, and he's running wildcat quarterback. He's got rush. He's got like 900 rushing yards, and he's catching passes. Did you see him right away as a receiver? That you hoped you could land for the Broncos.
Yeah, no question. I mean, from the standpoint of being extremely versatile, we always try to have one or two guys in our offense that is what we call the weapon, a guy that can do multiple things, play in the backfield, handle himself, but not necessarily be, a permanent guy back there, but can play in the slot, line up, be a fly sweep type of guy. And it was very evident from the beginning, as we started to watch Shaq's film in high school and the things that his high school coaches said about him, that number one, he's able to handle the mental side of playing all these different positions, and it doesn't slow him down. He actually enjoys doing all these different things. And obviously when you pop on the film, it wasn't hard to see, his talent and the things he can do on the field.
One of the things I know about being a college coach is you're kind of projecting where this guy might go to, because when you start recruiting these guys at 17 years old, a lot of these guys turn into something different when they get to college. They put on weight, they grow taller. Tell us a little bit about Shakir's transformation when he came in. How far did he have to go to get to be this top flight recruit and a top flight draft pick that we see now? And tell us about that transition.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, from high school to college, we talk about it all the time. It's going to be one of the biggest growth seasons of their life, in a lot of different aspects, the mental side, and as you were talking about, the physical side. And that just comes down to development. Number one, how hard Shaq works every single day. What he puts into a workout he gets out of it different. He gets out of it a lot more than other people that are doing the same workout because of what he puts into it. And that's who he is in a training session, in the weight room, conditioning sessions, and then obviously practice. He practices the way he plays, and you love those guys from the standpoint of, you gotta pull them back a little bit instead of having to get them going. And I think ultimately that's what allowed Shaq to develop, coming from the high school player that he was, playing all these multiple positions, to being able to really identify that, hey, this guy, he can line up and play slot inside. He can line up on the outside, as well as the things that, we know he can do in the backfield.
We often hear from Coach McDermott here in Buffalo that they look for players that they believe have what they call Bills DNA. And it's usually somebody that they're not going to wonder, hey, what am I getting from this guy in week 16 when his body's hanging and he's beat up? I want to know that I'm still going to get the same thing out of him in a practice on a Thursday in week 16 that I get in week 2 or 3. They obviously feel that Khalil has that. Having sat in his living room with his parents and, talked to them, knowing his dad's a master sergeant in the Marines, did you kind of derive pretty quickly that, Khalil was kind of a straight and narrow, always get the job done kind of kid?
Very self-driven, number one. His standard and expectations for himself is very high. So what comes with that is the consistency of what you're talking about, whether it's week number 2 or week number 17. He's going to come to get it done every morning. And the best part about him too is it's not just about him. It is about him in terms of how he carries himself and the standard he holds himself to. But when I say it's not about him, it's not about all the flash and everything else. It's about the team. It's about the things he does to help his teammates, to help bring them along. And that's one of the best qualities about him, is that he is a great, great teammate.
Yeah, one of the things you see, you can kind of tell, you look for subtleties when you watch film and stuff, and it does seem like his teammates responded to him as well, like he was a well-liked guy. You see him when he celebrates, he's got like 6 guys coming by to give him 5. They all want to make sure they get over to say hi to him. You don't always see that. Was he that kind of presence in your locker room?
Without a doubt. I mean, through the middle of the year last year, he was we became way more consistent as a whole team. And a lot of that had to do with him and, just a couple other guys in our leadership. They really put their foot down and said, listen, we're going to be more consistent overall with our accountability and player to player, and we're going to lead that. It can't be the coaches. We've got to lead that as players. And he did an unbelievable job helping us create that. And obviously through this last spring, our team has been able to build off of those, some of these things we reestablished within our foundation. But you can see on some of these highlights right here that you guys are playing, it's not all about him. He makes a big play and his teammates are there to celebrate with him because his teammates know that, he does everything for the team. And it's not only when he has the ball in his hands too. Now the guy will block, the guy will do other things to help his teammates as well.
Talking with Boise State head football coach Andy Avalos, who obviously coached Khalil Shakir, Bill's 5th-round draft choice. And the other thing, too, that I wanted to kind of get a sense of from you, Coach, because Brandon Beane, the general manager here in Buffalo, already said we kind of envision him being that 4th wideout who backs up all 3 spots. You already shed some light on Khalil's mental processing skills and the ability to handle that kind of responsibility. What I want to get from you is there seems to be a certain kind of polish to his route running. Can you just maybe elaborate on what he has done, or, well, how much is learned in that area of football, and how much of that you just have to kind of recognize leverage of the defense or where the green grass is, the nuances of route running. He seems to be very advanced in that area for what he's going to be a rookie in the fall.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, there's obviously a ceiling that there's still room to grow for him in those areas, but his knowledge of leverage, whether he's in the slot and he's running routes based off of leverage of defenders, certain coverages and those things, like he can see those and adapt and adjust. Our quarterback here, Hank Bachmeyer, would, he trusted and relied on Khalil and would go to him a lot more because he knows that Shaq's going to be where he's supposed to be consistently from that standpoint. From the standpoint of we move Shaq around a lot too. And so not only is he doing it from a stationary position, but he's doing it from, coming off of motion and when coverages are adjusting due to motion, and he's still able to figure those things out pretty quickly. And so, he's going to have to continue to develop in all areas. He is a good route runner. One of his quickness, his lateral quickness is really, really good. He can obviously continue to build off of getting in and out of his routes, his transitions, things like that.
Most of us here in Buffalo, we don't think about college football until it's time to draft some of these guys. Give us an idea of your team. I know this is your second year as head coach. You've been associated with the program before. You were an alumni. You were a great player there. Give us an idea about where you were at this year and what your future prospects are. Where are the Boise State Broncos going to do in the next year or two? What are your plans?
Yeah, no question. So like we were talking about before, in the middle of the year last year, we really made a big jump with our consistency week in and week out. And so Shaq had a big part of that. We were able to carry on with that this spring. The competitive nature of the team and the consistency of the team this spring it looks totally different than it did last year. So the guys are leading it now, much like what Khalil got started. And he left his, Khalil really left his footprint on this program in terms of helping us reestablish this foundation of how it's always been at Boise State, where, the players are elite competitors and they help lead. And, from here going forward, we actually have a lot of guys that have come back that either were +1 seniors due to the COVID year or guys that potentially could have went to the NFL. So we're excited about the depth and the roster we have coming back going into the summertime here. The guys are on a little break right now, but we start summer workouts here in a couple of weeks, and we're excited to get them back and finish doing the work it's going to take to be an elite team.
The last one from me, Coach. Obviously, you probably kept at least one eye on the draft for obvious reasons. After you saw, Khalil go on day 3, what was the exchange that, maybe you had with him, either if it was just a simple quick text or a phone call?
Well, just through the process and in the days, the first couple of days of the draft there, it's just, hey, be patient. Everything happens for a reason. You'll end up in the right place because of who you are, and the right people are going to want you, and it's going to be an unbelievable fit. Obviously, what the Bills have done here of late in building their program and their team and their organization into the competitive team that they are. I mean, it's exciting to know that Shaq's going to go into a place where it is about the team, where, they're looking for a certain DNA. because he does have that. And that's where, it's a huge fit for him. And that's why we're all excited to see what he does.
Well, Coach, congratulations. And I know Bills fans will be thanking you for all the work you've done with Shakir to get him ready for his time here in Buffalo. We're excited to see him play. Can't wait to have him come in and get a look at him in rookie minicamp.
We're looking forward to that as well. Thank you guys for having Boise State on. Go Broncos.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Coach. Good luck this coming season.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Boise State head football coach Andy Avalos joining us to talk a little bit about Bills' 5th-round draft pick, Khalil Shakir.